What's up, everyone? Ross here from Warrior Trading. So this week, TD Ameritrade, well, the stock is down 36%. They are having their worst week in more than 20 years. And in fact, last week the stock was at $50 a share, and today it's at $33. That means the market cap of TD Ameritrade has dropped by about $10 billion. So this is some pretty crazy stuff, and you know why it's happened? Commission wars. So the final leg in the race to zero, brokers battling it out, undercutting each other, dropping their commissions, which ultimately has been great for us, but has culminated this week with E-Trade, Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, and Charles Schwab all announcing zero commissions. You guys can check out the videos on the other brokers in the description. They're linked below. As always, questions, comments on this video, please leave them below. If you currently trade with Ameritrade, I would love to hear your input on what this change means, because ultimately, when they drop the commissions to zero, it has to come at some type of cost, and I'm really interested to see what that's going to be. Now, to backtrack just a little bit, we're going to talk about TD Ameritrade, but I want to talk for a second about Robinhood. Now, Robinhood came on the scene in 2013 as a mobile trading app with the headline of invest commission free, zero commissions. And I remember I was trading then, and I remember people saying, are you going to use Robinhood? Robinhood, zero commission, you know, it's a no-brainer. So of course I checked it out, and what I discovered was that Robinhood as a mobile app is very cool, and it certainly is going to entice a lot of young people to start investing and get interested in the market, which is great. But ultimately, if you're a professional trader, in other words, you're someone who does this for your primary job or to seriously make money, you're not going to use a mobile app, right? I mean, you're going to get out of it exactly what you would expect. It's a mobile app. It's subpar. I mean, you're not going to have level 2. You're not going to have market depth. You're not going to have hotkeys, and you're not going to be able to execute orders within a fraction of a second. It's just not going to happen. And so ultimately, Robinhood, and we can see the website here, it shows the picture of your iPhone and the fact that you can trade on the mobile app. I mean, it's cool, but it was never going to be a real competitor, in my mind, to a broker like E-Trade or Ameritrade, because it's not a true trading platform. But in fact, over the years, I think it has drawn some market share from the big brokers. And that's probably because the bulk of the big brokers' customers are not traders like me who are trading 3 to 5 times a day. They're people who put money in and trade every now and then. And so what that means is that they get to sit with these large deposits on their books, which is good. So in fact, TD Ameritrade has $1.3 trillion of client assets. So those are clients that put their money there and they just sit there. And of course, Ameritrade's able to have that on their balance sheet, which is for them, you know, it's a value to have all of those deposits sitting with them. And so this week, Interactive Brokers, or it was actually last week, they announced their new free commission product offering. But that product is really, to me, a direct competitor to Robinhood because it's a simple app. And actually, I can put up let's see, where's my window? Oh, here it is. So Interactive Brokers IBKR Lite is the name of the new software or the new product offering. And basically it says, coming in October, unlimited commission-free trading on US listed stocks. And you can tell that it's a simple sort of trading app. It doesn't show full market depth. It most likely doesn't have hotkeys. This isn't something that someone who's trading to really make a living on is going to be using. And if you go down to the bottom on Interactive Brokers, you can see the comparison between IBKR Lite and IBKR Pro. And of course, you have to pay for Pro. And you guys can check it out in my video specifically on Interactive Brokers. But long story short, they've created just simply a new product offering, and the Pro version, you still have to pay for. Well, Charles Schwab then upped the ante and said, you know what, we're just going to ditch commissions no matter what. Now, the thing with Charles Schwab is that only about 8% of their revenue comes from commissions. So it's kind of like not as big of a deal for them to make that cut because the bulk of their revenue is related to the assets under management and, you know, investing with Charles Schwab and stuff like that. Well, TD Ameritrade only has $1.3 trillion in assets, client assets, whereas Charles Schwab has nearly $4 trillion. So they're much bigger in that department. Now, with TD Ameritrade being smaller in the assets under management, the bulk, a bigger percentage of their profit comes from commissions. The exact percentage I'm not sure of, but Ameritrade has said that they expect a 15 to 16% drop in quarterly revenue as a result of dropping their commissions to $0 per trade. And that's going to be approximately $200 million. So $200 million is certainly a big hit, but the bigger hit is the fact that their stock is down 36% and their market cap has been slashed by $10 billion. Now, one of the things that I'm really interested in, and I'm sure you are if you're an Ameritrade customer, is what this really means for you. Because it's one thing just to cut commissions down to zero. That's great. But where is that cost saving? Where are they going to make up for that, right? They're losing money on commissions. They've got to make up for it somewhere else. Now, the couple of things that come to my mind first would be customer support and routing. Now, customer support, that's kind of a no-brainer. A broker like Robinhood, the customer support has never been really, really solid. If you're in the middle of a trade and you need to get a hold of someone ASAP, it's very difficult. And I've heard that from a lot of students and a lot of traders who use Robinhood. So that's to be expected. But with Ameritrade, with traders, and I know traders who have six-figure accounts there, you expect to be able to get on the phone with them really quickly. And if you're in a bad trade, you lose power and you're in a trade, something happens, you can get out of that trade really quickly. Unfortunately, that all comes at a cost. Providing great customer support, they've got to spend that money. So now, without the profit from commissions, how are they going to pay for it? So one of the other questions is order routing. So when we route our orders, when we send our orders to the market, most brokers are using some type of smart routing. And so the way the shares are sent to the market, the volume, there's a way that they can send the shares that give them an advantage, that give them a little bit of a rebate. And in fact, some brokers even have, for a while, like Trade Zero, for instance, has no ECN fees and no commissions as long as you route orders a specific way. Because if you route them that specific way, then actually I believe they're getting a little bit of a rebate back to them from the market maker. And so this is one of the things with trading that you can get paid to provide liquidity to the market. Right now, for instance, I could get paid about $10, $15 on a 10,000 share position if I route it the right way. I'll get paid to do that. And so now if brokers start collecting all of those payments on your orders, well, that will make up the difference. However, the route that gives them the most money and that method of routing is not always going to be favorable for you in terms of execution speed and execution quality. And so when you think about over the course of weeks, months, or years of trading, the difference in execution, if it amounts to a 1 cent, a 2 cent, or imagine a 5 cent difference on every trade you take, that can easily be the difference between being successful and barely breaking even or even losing money, right? I mean, traders are trading tens of thousands of shares a week, hundreds of thousands of shares a month, millions of shares a year. So when you multiply 1 million shares times 5 cents a share, that starts to really add up. And they'll be able to start collecting that 1 cent per share in the form of the rebate that they're getting back to them. But if you're losing it in the form of a poor execution, that's going to be a problem. Now, this is speculation because I don't know if they're going to make any changes to the order routing. They might not. A couple of other traders that I know have already proactively reached out to Ameritrade and asked and said, hey, what is this going to mean for order execution? And they've said, we don't know yet. Because, this commission war has just put all these brokers in a position of just cutting costs and figuring it out later. So I'm really curious what it's going to mean. And I'd love, again, for you guys to put in the comments below what you think it's going to mean for your account. Are you going to stay at Ameritrade? If you're currently trading with a different broker, are you now going to switch to Ameritrade? And you might also be wondering about the broker that I use. You can check out the link below to see which broker I'm using and whether or not I'm going to switch. The reality is, for me, in order to trade the strategy that I trade, I need a certain set of tools, and I need to be able to route my orders to the market in a very specific way. If I lose those abilities, if I lose those tools, essentially I'm losing my edge in the market. And that can be the difference between being successful and losing money. So I don't have any plans right now to make Ameritrade, E-Trade, or Interactive Brokers, either of those brokers, my primary broker. Now, I could see maybe using one of them for a retirement account that I don't trade in as actively, but I really think that I would lose more money due to poor order execution, inability to use the hotkeys that I like, than I would save in commissions. And it's what it's all about. It's, cost, benefit analysis. And for me, the benefit, I'm not clear that it's there until I find out a little bit more about the routing. And in any case, I've never been a big fan of TD Ameritrade simply because the order execution when I was there was always a little bit slower, and I wasn't able to utilize the direct access routing that I like, and I wasn't able to set up the hotkeys that I like. So Ameritrade's never been in my top recommended brokers. But again, really interested to hear what you guys think about this change. It's a pretty big deal, and ultimately I really hope that this commission war will just be good for traders, but it could mean that brokers start to really neglect active traders like us, because we're going to be the ones that are kind of making the most of the free commission, and they may not actually want to attract traders like us anymore. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. In the description, I've got links below so you guys can check out the videos on Interactive Brokers, Charles Schwab, and E-Trade. And as always, questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll see you guys back at it for my next video. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.